I wanted to make this video for a while now, but I'm kind of all too aware that by talking about something you bring more attention to it. However, the kind of attention this situation has received, I believe, has been negative in a way perhaps you might not expect. So, TFC issued an apology video for some of the views that he held in the past, and he issued this on his channel. And the response to that was majority really quite supportive of him and accepting of his apology. I too think that his apology was very much sincere, and maybe he struggled with some of the wording and the language to get there, but you could really hear it in his voice that some people had brought something he had said in the past to his attention, and that he genuinely felt like he wanted to issue an apology, which I commend him for doing. What's unfortunate about this situation is then people without the fuller context of what's gone on have then exacerbated the situation and made the worst out of it. So reading his comments, again, like 90% of them are really good, and then there's this small fraction of people that are, turning this into the worst thing it could possibly be. And so I wanted to make a video just addressing that and saying that I was quite close to this situation as it unfolded, and it didn't really start with any malicious intent at all, and the way it resolved itself was rather maturely handled and well done, and I know this because I was kind of there behind the scenes as things took place. And these comments on his video don't have this broader context. So TFC appears apologizing for some views that he had 10 years ago, and people are calling it cancel culture, saying that a mob came after him, and none of these things actually happened. What happened was that someone was inquiring into the status of each of the hermits and where they stand towards the LGBTQ plus community, and in sharing answers, it was noted that someone was like, well, I saw this post from TFC from 10 years ago, and it shared some views that TFC has moved on from since then. And it was quite an innocent answer. There was no mob going after, looking for this, digging up dirt from the past, which people have been suggesting that they have, and again, lacking the broader context of the situation. What tends to happen is that, for some reason, social media brings the worst out of us, or at least it inclines us towards something rather negative. So if I get a comment saying, oh, assuming, that thing you did in the last episode weren't that good, right? It can be quite easy for me to go, oh, that's not very nice. Why are you saying that? And the broader context might be, if you were speaking to someone face to face about this, you might realize that there's passion in their voice. They really loved your videos, and this one, though, that thing that you tried to do, it just didn't work, and they wanted to let you know because they want you to make great videos, right? Like, you can perceive it negatively, whereas actually there might be a lot of positivity. And this is because I think that text, communicating over text like we do on Twitter and other social media platforms, it takes a lot of the nuance out of talking to one another. You don't hear passion in someone's voice. The blankness of the text can kind of be interpreted however you like. And that, of course, just then ends up tending to be negative, depending on what type of person you are. I am someone who interpreted it negatively very often, and now regularly check myself and try and make the best out of anything that I am interpreting. So, without a lack of context as what the situation is, people are seeing this apology video and assuming the worst. Oh, a mob must have come after TFC. There was no mob that went after TFC, and his apology isn't related to cancel culture. It's a very sincere apology. And so going through his video, his comments, I became more concerned about the response and how some people would just relate it to the worst possible interpretation of what it could be. So I wanted to record this video and just remind you all that when we're online and we're on the internet, we tend to be rather ignorant to a lot of maybe what's gone on. When you receive some information about a situation, what we tend to do is apply our ideas of what's going on in the world to that situation. If you heard his apology and thought, this is cancel culture, chances are you probably are already watching videos or receiving information that suggests that cancel culture is a big problem. And so you don't look at the situation individually, you don't take account for what you may or may not know about the situation, and you apply the bias that you have accumulated to that situation. And it's something that you probably do without realizing. I'm not suggesting these people are deliberately malicious when they come along with these ideas, but I was very close to this whole thing and how it unfolded, and I thought it was handled rather maturely by the people involved, and, you know, TFC issued a very sincere apology. So, to reiterate, there was no mob that went after TFC. This was actually brought to his attention by myself, and I didn't ask him to make an apology video or anything like that. He did that of his own accord. There was no initial digging up of dirt. It was brought up rather innocently, and TFC also decided to remove that post from his website as he realized that it could be hurtful to others. And so I really do feel like this is one of those good situations where someone had time to look back at some views they previously held and realize that, you know, that's not who they are anymore, and apologize to anyone who saw that and offended it. This is a very positive thing, a positive way to move forward, I think. And yet there is this crowd that just want to make the worst out of it. And again, here I am saying there's a crowd that's wanting to make the worst out of it. I'm sure they don't want to, but these ideas float around on the internet. I think we have to be very careful with realizing that we may not know the full situation, and that there is, of course, a bias towards certain ideas about how things are playing out in the world. So yeah, this was not cancel culture, so I wanted to waffle on about it for a minute, just to hopefully try and reach some of those people that didn't see it the same way. And again, I was quite close to how this situation unfolded, and it really wasn't a case of a mob or cancel culture or anything like that at all.